Hey there, Wondering Watchers. Welcome to this tarot card reading made for watchers of true crime and intended for a mature audience. This tarot reading explores what was going on with 32-year-old Lindsay Marie Clancy when she allegedly used exercise ropes to strangle her 3 children before she cut her own wrists and neck and jumped from her bedroom window, which apparently caused her to be paralyzed from the waist down. It's been reported that on the evening of January 24th, 2023, while her husband Patrick Clancy picked up medication at CVS and got food from a restaurant outside of town, Lindsay strangled 5-year-old Cora, 3-year-old Dawson, and 7-month-old Callan in the basement of their Duxbury, Massachusetts home. It's reported that she heard a man's voice telling her to kill the children and to kill herself because it was her last chance. There are conflicting reports about whether Lindsay was diagnosed with postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis, but it appears that between last October and January, she had been prescribed 13 different psychiatric medications to treat anxiety, depression, and insomnia, 3 of which she was taking at the time of the killings. So it's also reported she had prior thoughts of hurting herself and her children, but also wanted to have more children. Plus, Lindsay also worked as a labor and delivery nurse, which begs the question of whether she had training to identify postpartum mental health issues and symptoms. For this reading, I'm going to do a classic Celtic cross spread to get a picture of what Lindsay was dealing with at the time of the murders. Also, her husband, Patrick, fully supports her and has forgiven her and would like the public to do so as well. Kind of saying that, she was a great, loving mother, and that it seems the defense is going to be insanity defense, and kind of explaining that I assume with all the different medications she was trying that they were actively seeking some type of help. So let's get into this Celtic cross. I'll go ahead and I will put these out here and then identify the positions and go through the interpretations and clarifications. Let's see here. All right, so the card at the bottom of the deck, we have here the Page of Pentacles, and this is like the influencing energy of kind of learning something new, getting a sense of being able to create something in the material world and getting a high out of it. So in this deck, the 78 Tarot Magical, this gnome looks like he is just high as a kite off of his rocker just because of the eyeballs. And so, perhaps this is kind of like, looks like a pill, a tablet, could be influenced by medications. So in terms of the situation, we have the King of Pentacles, what crosses the moon. Above in the focus, we have the Chariot. Below in the unconscious, this is kind of what would be working in the background, possibly undetected. We have the Queen of Wands. In the past, we have the Fool. In the near future, we have the Six of Cups. In terms of her attitude towards the situation, Wheel of Fortune. In terms of her environment, the Two of Swords, her hopes and fears. We have the Four of Wands. The outcome, we have the Knight of Cups. So here, I'll start with the past position with this Fool. The Fool is usually a card of a new journey, new beginnings, taking a leap of faith. It also can indicate birth. So it could be the fact of her children. The Fool card is numbered 0, and the 0 is kind of like, shaped like an egg, which kind of can be a sense of birth. And with the present situation, we have here the King of Pentacles. So that's kind of a sense of having material success and wealth. Perhaps there was a focus on her, her husband. We'll do some clarifications. Here we have the Moon card. And with the Moon, there is a lack of clarity. In this deck, there is a will-o'-the-wisp here in the woods, kind of calling you forward to come check it out, but possibly leading to dangers, unknown dangers, and possibly fears that are brought up. It could be a card indicating depression. So above we have here the Chariot. This is a card of really, wanting to have your act together and advancing forward, overcoming obstacles, whatever the opposing energies are, really able to advance forward. So, it could be she wanted to have, work as a nurse, had 3 kids, being a wife, wanting more children, and kind of, the happy ever after home. Here, this Queen of Wands, what's working in the background, this indicates someone who is very loyal, loving, protects what she cares about. And here in the near future, the Six of Cups, this is usually a card of childhood, nostalgia. It's reported that the morning of the killings, Lindsay took their daughter to, I believe, to like a pediatrician and built snowmen with her kids out in the yard. Her attitude of this situation with this Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of like ups and downs. So it does kind of indicate like constant change. Maybe it's the change in the medications, just hoping that things will get better. So this Two of Swords here in the environment, you can see this individual is blindfolded. In this deck, the concept is that this individual cannot see, is unable to see, and is kind of grasping around in these ruins, and comes across these 2 swords and uses these 2 swords to kind of maneuver around, feel his way around. So in the environment, it could be that, if we're looking at the mental health aspect of it, and the 13 different psychiatric medications she was on, could be just that she was like blindly, trying to find the right medication. In terms of the hopes and fears, we have here the Four of Wands. So that's the hope of like a happy family. You can see this lady is kind of dancing with this tapestry. It looks like there's a tiger on it, but it's a card to indicate a happy family celebration, celebrating milestones. And here with the outcome, the Knight of Cups. This is really interesting. Knights are associated with I believe, the element of fire, and cups, the element of water. So you've got passion and desire, and kind of feelings of being seduced almost. So if she claims that a man's voice told her to kill her kids and kill herself because it was her last chance, it's like a sense of seduction, kind of like this will o' the wisp in the moon card. So let's go ahead and get some clarifications going. Let's clarify the Fool in the past position. We have here the Star card, and this is a card of wish fulfillment, of clarity, So it could be that she did want more children, and it could be that she was this represents her past, where she really was maybe got her wish fulfilled, but this is also a card of healing and getting a sense of balance and clarity. So maybe she was hoping to get that with her her children. But let's take a look at some other things that were going on. Let's take a look at the King of Pentacles in the current situation, or the situation at the time, moments before the killings, murders. So here we have the Seven of Swords. This is typically liar, stealer, cheater card. So it is kind of reported that Lindsay sent Patrick to a restaurant outside of town and had timed the the trip so that she would have enough time to murder their children. So that is a card of deception. Let's take a look at this Moon card and clarify that. We have the Five of Cups. So here, this is sadness, loss, emotions spilled all over the floor, just kind of being stuck in a moment. So it does seem like there was a lot of anxiety, fear, sadness, even possibly self-deception going on at that time. So let's see about the Chariot above in the focus. We have the Six of Wands. So it seems like Lindsay really wanted to have this victory, wanted to move forward, be successful, be a great mother, be a great nurse, be a great wife, be a great everything. And that was the focus. So let's take a look at the Queen of Wands here. We have the World card. And this is another card of success. It's not only success, it's kind of being recognized by others, and recognizing your accomplishments. In this card, this is a sky pirate, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's like cuts and scrapes on the legs of this sky pirate, and that kind of reflects the obstacles and the types of events the sky pirate had to overcome to reach this level of success. So she was focused on kind of success and recognition here, and kind of like working in the background was also this concept of success, and almost, I'm going to pull another card for this, because this is it really seems like positive energy. we have the Nine of Cups. And that is a card of another positive card. This is a card of happiness, fulfillment, being fulfilled. So it could be that what was going on in reality was just deception and illusion and sadness, but thinking and feeling like everything was amazing or could be amazing. So let's take a look at this Wheel of Fortune down here. This is kind of like the attitude of what was going on, of like, something's got to change. So we have here, this is the Hermit, and this is a card of feeling like alone and having to go on a journey that others might not want to necessarily take, but that this path is the way to be enlightened. So to some degree, if she's saying that, like, she heard the voice of someone telling her, hey, you've got to kill your kids right now, and yourself, like, this is the path you need to take, perhaps that's what it's representing. Let's take a look at the Two of Swords in the environment. We have here the Three of Wands, and so here, this is a card of like expanding out and seeking other things. So with the Two of Swords and the Three of Wands, it does seem that it was like she was blindly trying these different medications and trying to, try something new so that she can get a grasp on, what she's trying to accomplish in life. And really trying to go off the information. So with the Two of Swords here, in this deck and in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Two of Swords, or the two swords, are really long. And I believe in some decks you can't even see the tips. You can't see the point. You can't see where it's ending. So it's just more information and more information. And really, that's not what is going to matter. So it's as if they were just still searching and trying, and possibly, it's kind of like, it's just like getting recommendations, see how it goes. If that doesn't work, then we're going to try something else. And it's kind of like, this is the kind of the path, and you have to get feedback and all these kinds of things. So it seems like she was doing what she thought she should do, but also really didn't know what to do because she couldn't really see straight or think straight. So let's take a look at the Four of Wands, the hopes and fears. We have the Death card here. So things were changing. It could be that she was hoping for a happy family. Death usually is not literal death, or the Death card does not mean that literally. It's usually about transformations and letting go of things that aren't serving you, and maturing, growing. But here it could be, she was offered a rose from whatever this male voice was, and she thought that's the way to do it, I guess, to achieve this happiness. So let's see about the Six of Cups, the near future here. Like I said, she was building snowmen with her children that day. So it could be some aspect of like believing they would forever be playing or something along those lines. Let's clarify that. Well, there's the Page of Pentacles, that crazy-eyed gnome here. But it is a card. The pages are childlike. So, it'd be really interesting to know what medication she was actually taking at the time versus just prescribed, and whether or not the medications, it says that she was prescribed 13 different psychiatric medications between October and January, but 3 at the time of the killings. It could be that it was, all in October. She tried 13 different times and had been 4 months on the same 3. Who knows? But it kind of seems like it is tied to that medication, or whatever medication or lack of medication. So let's take a look at the Knight of Cups and the outcome. Well, we have the 3 of Pentacles. And this kind of seems to me a representation of the 3 children. So I think the outcome has to do with this kind of some type of seduction, something that she believed that she believed that what she was doing emotionally, she was like driven to do this. Obviously, something was wrong there, but it seems like there's a lot of love, a lot of trying, and a lot of ideas of success and happiness. And the problem is that the reality didn't match up with the hopes. So this is what I have for now. We'll see you next time. Until then, keep on your toes and take care.